I'd like to spend some time now talking a little bit about the different subscription types that we have available with us in regards to Microsoft 365, Office 365, and making sure that we can evaluate those for our company. It's important to have a decent understanding of what's out there if you're going to be the decision maker in an organization on what subscription types that you're going to purchase. So the first thing we'll look at is, and we're going to this is going to be geared towards the business side of things as opposed to like the home subscriptions for Office and Microsoft 365. But if you go out to a search engine like Google and just search for Microsoft 365 Business, just search that, you're going to see there's an article Microsoft has that breaks all this down for you. So we're going to click this little link here, and we're now going to go to see plans and pricing. Now, you may say, well, why didn't you create a slide for this and show us a slide for the breakdown? The reason is because it's important for you to see the most up-to-date information, and where better to get the most up-to-date information on what the pricing is and the plans than to actually go there and look at Microsoft's table. They actually have a table for you that's been set up that breaks all this down for you. So as you can see right here, I'm looking at Microsoft 365 Business Basic, Business Standard, Business Premium. Now, their business editions of Microsoft 365 are geared towards 300 user or less environments. Okay, so that's what these are built for. And so if you look right here, you got a monthly fee of $5, $12.50, $20, and of course I'm going off of United States pricing, so you'd have to, if you're in a different country, you need to look at the pricing based on where you're at. But you can get this latest and greatest information off their site, and you can get a breakdown of what you get. Okay, so if we look here with Basic, we're getting the web app, mobile versions of Office apps. Okay, we can expand that out. We can look at exactly what we're getting. They tell you web versions of Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, always up to date. You get the mobile versions, collaborate using real-time authoring. Mobile users can work in the same document on the same document at the same time. These are all these things you're getting all that with all three of these. Email and calendar options. So hosting, they tell you 50 gig mailboxes. You can set up a custom domain. So instead of like examlabpractice.onmicrosoft.com, I can just be examlabpractice.com. I can have my email address associated with it. Okay, business class email, the ability to manage, calendar share, available meeting times, all that, scheduling meetings. So a bunch of great features here that's included with email and calendar. All three of these are going to give you that. Okay, main thing there is remember you have a 50 gig limit on mailbox. So file and storage. As you can see, you get the 1 terabyte of OneDrive cloud storage, OneDrive for Business. You get access to SharePoint, the ability to share external files with people, the ability to securely share documents and set permissions, as well as synchronizing with your files between your Mac and mobile devices. So a lot of good stuff there. We have teamwork, communications. So all three of these have the ability to host online meetings with the help of Teams. 250 users, calls up for 250 users essentially. The ability to chat, bring together team and collaborate, share files, set up team sites, contents, all that great stuff. So that's sort of moving into the Microsoft Teams world. That's the things you get with it though. You have security and compliance, so all this great security capabilities. You have what's called Exchange Online Protection. They mention that you have international, regional, industry-specific standards in terms of setting up security and privacy controls. You can control who can access your information through permissions, set password policies, all that good stuff. Password reset for your users, all that good stuff with all three of these. Support and documents, support and deployment. Sorry. So access support on the phone, the web, anytime. They tell you have peace of mind. We have a 3.9 uptime guarantee. So that is actually Microsoft's SLA. Microsoft's SLA for this is a 3.9 availability. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, if you actually look at the term high availability, and go to like Wikipedia's article on it, for example, you're going to find that a 3.9 rating, if you look, they've got a table. A 3.9 availability means that they guarantee you their service won't be down for more than 1.4 minutes a day, 10 minutes a week, 43 minutes a month, which that's really what you want to look at is the monthly time period, and then 8.7 hours a year. So that's what a 3.9 SLA is going to basically provide you with. Okay, so it's important to understand what you're getting. Also, if you discover that they are down more than they say they are, they're actually going to provide you with more Azure credit, essentially, subscription time and all that. So you're getting all that out of it. Again, now this is key here. This is important. 300 users is the maximum number of users for all three of these plans. So if you're going to go beyond that, you got to move into the enterprise world. Okay, so you start getting into the, E5, E3 subscriptions, all that. Right here, tools to build and manage your business. So if you scroll back up here and we look, we have the basic plan. You'll notice basic does give you the plan, schedule, and daily tasks with Microsoft Teams, but you don't get these other two things. So you have to have at least the standard in order to get these other two. So it says make it easier for your customers to schedule and manage appointments for Microsoft bookings, have real-time accurate mileage tracking reporting, palm of your hand with the Mile IQ. So those are all the things you're getting out of that. Then you have desktop versions, so fully and always up-to-date versions of Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all that. So these are your desktop versions of the apps available for your PC. Notice that you do not get that with Basic. You do not get that with the Basic plan. So you have to have at least the standard or premium in order to get that, right? All right. So they all allow you to install the Office apps on up to 5 devices, 5 PCs and Macs. All right. Okay, so when you get into the Premium Edition, that's where you're going to get the advanced security capabilities. So you get a bunch of other capabilities involving security. You get something called Office 365 ATP Advanced Threat Protection. This is going to really drill down on making sure links are safe via email and there's attachments are safe. You get additional capabilities as far as security goes. You get remote wipe capabilities on machines. You can restrict copying and saving of files and information, control access to company information, and allow no forwarding capabilities if you want. You can apply policies in case a threat does occur, some kind of a security breach. You also get a thing with that known as Windows Defender Exploit Guard for protecting it against exploits. You have extra malware protection, as you can see here, and also they tell you have enable unlimited cloud archive and long-term preservation policy to basically allow your users to save emails forever if they want in certain circumstances. So online archiving essentially. And then lastly, you get device management with that. So that's where you get into being able to manage your Apple devices, Android devices, Windows devices as well, and control those using some very restrictive policies. And this is where you start moving into the MDM, mobile device management, mobile application management, which is Microsoft's Intune product. Okay, so those are the things you're going to get with the business side of things. All right, so it's important to understand, what you're getting with the business side of things. You got that 300 max limit though. Okay. So the next thing would be to take a look at the enterprise side of things. So to do that, I am going to go and I'm going to search for Microsoft 365. And we'll just say E3, E5, and you'll find your information there. So compare Microsoft 365 enterprise plans. So let's look at that article now. Okay, so we'll go there. And we have the same kind of breakdown. So you can see that they're really pushing 3 main subscription types here. The E5, Enterprise 3, E3, which is Enterprise 3, E5, Enterprise 5, and then you've got F3. That's first line workers, okay? And so, of course, these are the 2 big plans that they're always trying to push. Now, first line workers is going to be available for people who are in a first line worker type of environment, and you'll notice it's much cheaper, but we'll see what the differences are. So if we go down here, you can break this all down. You'll see that They have the Microsoft 365 apps, so the ability to get access to your PowerPoint, Word, Excel, all that. I can expand this out and see exactly what I'm getting. All right, there are a few terms in regards to what first line workers have. Okay, and if you want additional information, you can go to their link on that. They all three have access to the Office mobile apps and Office for the web. They used to call this Office Online. They changed the name, and they're now calling it Microsoft 365 Apps, or sometimes they'll call it Apps for Enterprise. That used to be called Office 365 Pro Plus. So just know that their terminology here has recently changed. Then you have email, calendar capabilities. So Outlook, Exchange, ability to use bookings. You can see what first line workers don't have. Voice and meeting capabilities with Teams. Okay, notice that with E5 you can do audio calls. You get access to what's called the phone system with Teams. So you can actually use like voice over IP in regards to Teams hooking into the public switch telephone network and all of that. All right, so then you have social and intranet, so SharePoint, Yammer. You notice they've each got that, although there was a couple of terms in regards to what first line workers have. You have files, content, so they've all got that. So OneDrive for Business, Microsoft List, Stream, Sway, task management capabilities, Power Apps, Power Automate, Planner, To Do, so they get all of that. And then you get to Advanced Analytics. So with Advanced Analytics, you'll notice first line doesn't have any of that. And then you'll notice that with E3, we have My Analytics, but we don't have Power BI, which is incredibly powerful as far as grabbing analytics, very advanced, and generating advanced reports and all of that. So we don't have that. The only one we got that with is E5. All right. So then device management, that gets back over into being able to manage our devices. So we can manage Windows Enterprise. We have the Microsoft 365 Admin Center for managing some of our devices, but mostly the most important thing we're going to get the ability to use is Microsoft Intune, which that is extremely powerful as far as managing mobile device management, mobile application management, all that good stuff. We can even do autopilot, which is a way of having Windows 10 machines boot up when you first buy a Windows 10 computer, and it just automatically gets managed by our Intune environment and controlled through our Intune environment. So that's an incredibly, I'm not going to really get deep into Intune and all that stuff right now, but that's an incredibly powerful capability. You have Endpoint Configuration Manager as well, which Endpoint Configuration Manager it used to be called SCCM, System Center Configuration Manager. They renamed it, and Endpoint Config Manager is actually works in conjunction with Intune as well. Intune being more geared towards the mobile side of things, Endpoint Configuration being manager being more geared towards the on-premise side of things. So then I've got all this identity and access management. You can see that I have Windows Hello, Credential Guard, so that gets into the authentication, biometric, facial recognition, all of that stuff. Azure Active Directory Premium 1. So I get the Premium 1 of Azure Active Directory with my E3, E5 has it, and then first line, but Premium 2 only comes with the E5. And then the threat protection, and by the way, just as a side note, if you want to dig into what you get with Azure AD P1 and P2, that Microsoft has a great article for that as well. To search Azure AD P1 versus P2, and there's a pricing here, and you can really dig into what you're going to get based on the different premiums. So here's all the things. So you'll notice there's 4 different versions of Azure AD. That's the directory services that we've got, right? So you can kind of dig in and see what you get with each one. Okay, not really getting deep into that right now though. I just wanted to point that out if you want to look at that little document. Okay. So then from here, I have advanced threat protection. So you'll notice that E5 is the only one that has that. The advanced threat protection is extremely powerful security capabilities as far as like monitoring your email and safe links and safe attachments. You heard me mention a little bit of that with the business side just a minute ago. All right. So then information protection capabilities. I have data loss prevention. All right, making sure that we don't have any leakage of data. In other words, people sharing documents and things with people they shouldn't be. We have Windows information protection and BitLocker protection. That's an additional layer of security for Windows. Azure information protection, that's going to get into the ability to classify data, add sensitivity labels to data. So we have P1. Essentially, we have P1 and P2. Only E5 has P2. In a nutshell, with P2, you can automatically classify data. But with P1, users have to manually classify data. So in a nutshell, essentially what I'm saying is I could have a document where if it has somebody's credit card number in the document, I could have that classified as a sensitive document automatically if I have the P2. But with P1, users have to manually classify it. So that's sort of your difference. You've also got Cloud App Security. Cloud App Security is a what's known as a security broker. It's something that can monitor all the applications users are using on the web in your environment and give you reports to see who's going to what web apps. So if I want to know how many people are using Dropbox instead of OneDrive for Business, I could. Not getting into a lot of detail on this right now, though. And then security management. So I have a secure score. I can see what my rating is in my organization, see how secure my organization is from a cloud perspective. I have Microsoft Security and Compliance Center, which is going to also give me the ability to look at all the security policies and stuff in my environment all in one place, and also see if my machines are actually compliant. All right, and then lastly, we have advanced compliance, which gets into even more compliance capabilities. I can use e-discovery. I have what's called a customer lockbox where I can secure my encryption key information and all that. And by the way, e-discovery is where I can do forensics. So if I'm doing an investigation on a user, I can do all of that. I have privileged identity management, privileged access management, which gets into controlling who gets access to certain information for a temporary amount of time, all that good stuff. So hopefully that gives you guys now a little bit of decent breakdown of this. I highly recommend, though, you pull these up yourself and just kind of read through, and it'll really help you. Sitting down and watching the video here is obviously going to help you, but sitting down too and kind of reading through it yourself will help you wrap your brain around it. So this is why I didn't want to just create a slide with a table, because there's so much information here, and you can get the most up-to-date and most accurate information if you go out there and look at it directly on Microsoft's website yourself.